welcome to a new episode of Storytellers. We are here with our bridal edition today as part of my new venture, What Do I Do? So, this is for the brides, this is for the ladies and gents, you never know who want to be engaged. And so, we are so excited to welcome a really special guest. But before we do that, welcoming my CPO, my Chief Planning Officer at What Do I Do, Amanda Savory. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Allie.
Oh
Good
my,
to be here again. I'm very excited about this conversation.
me too. We are going to talk to somebody who's been in the bridal industry since 2011, designing stunning gowns for her own name brand label. And now she is a bride herself. She is planning a wedding, an international wedding. Also is designing her looks. She's designing her bridesmaids looks. She is doing it all. And she's also doing my look for my city hall wedding. So she's a big year ahead. I'm so excited to have on Storytellers today, Rime Arodaky. Hello.
Hi, Ellie. Hi, Amanda. Very happy to be here.
We are so excited to have you on today. And you are coming to us from your Soho location during Bridal Fashion Week here in New York.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. It's always a pleasure to come back to the city and to meet real brides, the press, and you guys.
Yes. Now tell us what you've been meeting with a bunch of brides. Brides have been coming to you, trying things on, placing their orders. What have you been seeing that's like everyone's leaning towards these days?
I've seen a big tendency to want to switch looks more and more. It was not something that was common. You might have had like a bachelorette dress and a reception dress, but party dresses, brunch dresses, changing 3 times the same day, having the fun with the fashion was not something very common. And these days, they're all about this. They want to play with fashion, they want to act like it's their own runway. So it's very exciting for us, obviously.
Yeah. I feel like, and I love both of your thoughts on this because I love my wedding gown. I like, and I don't want to take the time to like keep leaving and changing. Because at first I was like, I want my ceremony dress, I want my reception dress, I want my after party dress, I want after party dress. And
Mm.
I worry about like leaving and like missing my wedding because they keep going to change. Amanda, have you found that with your brides? Like, what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have probably 2 to 3 changes on the wedding day itself. And that is, we have our bride in their ceremony dress, and then we do photos with and without the veil. And then by the time that we're going into the reception, they're still in that main wedding dress, no veil. But right after those first dances or right after the first course or dinner, we are changing them out into their second dance outfit at the reception. But we definitely, dependent upon where we are, we try to keep that outfit very, very close and everything in close proximity to them because we don't want them to miss a lot of their reception and the dancing and everything. So we also are in touch with their maid of honor or whomever might be helping us slip her out of that dress, and get her into the new one and then back out on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And it's pretty common that we also have brides change into something even more fun and funkier for the after party. And at that point, they're okay if they go back to their room and take a little bit of a breather, and then we bring them up to the after party. So it's definitely something that I've seen over the past probably 3 to 5 years, really taking charge in regards to changing outfits out. So yeah, we do about 2 to 3, sometimes 4, but always just keeping in mind like where you're going to change because you want to be close to proximity to your dance floor so you're not missing a lot of the fun stuff.
Exactly. Reem, what are you doing for your wedding?
I know, I'm
You know
dying
what?
to know.
I'm still figuring this out because I don't know if I'm going to change once or twice. So it's still a big question for myself. I love fashion. I want to have fun, obviously, but it's exactly what Amanda was talking about. I don't want to miss a thing. I know that the venue is not huge, it's quite intimate, but my husband to be, being a wedding photographer, warned me that these kind of thing can take up to 30 minutes each time. So I'm just thinking, I'm very cautious about what I'm gonna do. For sure, I don't want to have a change of hair or change of makeup. I want to make it this smooth and easy, but obviously I want to make a statement by wearing something else. Yes.
So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your wedding plans, because I know you are from Paris and
Yes.
there's kind of like a tradition with what you do with your weddings. You kind of do one there and you do one somewhere else.
Yes, it's very different. So civil weddings in Paris are mandatory and they're a big thing. Like people usually throw a party there, they do it separately. They want to have a proper civil party and then a proper ceremony with party, dinner, etc., etc. So it's not seated, it's more of a cocktail time after the civil ceremony. But yeah, we're about to do it in a fancy hotel in the center of Paris. And we're going to have obviously our guests coming to the city hall of the 9th arrondissement. And then we'll have a cocktail party there. So I might have two outfits there already, one for the signing and one for the party. And then obviously I will do what I call the big wedding, even if it's not big, but I would say the real wedding in an intimate island in Asia. Yes.
Amazing. And for that one, I mean, how has planning been going for you? Like being in the bridal industry, knowing, like seeing a million weddings all the time, and then your husband being a wedding photographer, like
Yeah.
how are
Yeah.
you all of
We're trying not to turn into the control freaks we might see sometimes, if I can say so. No, but on a serious hand, we want to make this us, and because we have the experience, fashion wise, day wise, like he has the experience on the agenda for the day with vendors, with the timing, with all that matters on the big day, and I have experience on the fashion size, the fitting, the alterations, how to look your best self, the accessories, etc. So we try to bring our expertise and experience and insights to this by staying low key, not too controlling, and just take this as easy as possible. So we're not stressed about it. Weirdly, we might be stressed on the big day, obviously, but we try to make this as easy and smooth as possible.
Mm-hmm. It's nice. You guys make a really good team.
So yes, I mean we try to learn from each other. I haven't been to that many weddings, so it's very interesting when he brings his eyes to this and he's like, but don't you do this because it's going to take too much time, or don't you dare doing this at this time because it's going to be too late and you're going to lose the golden hour, blah blah blah. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
he's all about this. Yeah. He's very smart around this because he brings his his experience, and I obviously don't know. For example, he wanted to do first look, and I was all about to go down the aisle, him crying, discovering me in my wedding dress, and he was like, but Reem, for the photos you might be disappointed because it's not going to leave us much time to do nice photos together. And the first look is a moment where we can breathe out, relax, and have a nice moment, just the two of us, and taking the nicest photos and at the perfect moment. Before you know, it's crowded and messy and hectic. So it's interesting to have this point of view, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's such a big topic of conversation right now too. Like a lot of my first looks were so popular and now people are pulling away from them too. Like I have friends that are like, no, I'm not doing a first look. And then others that are like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not missing my cocktail hour. Like that's how I feel. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
definitely doing first look.
I think you
Yeah, so we
definitely-
still haven't decided, to be honest. We still haven't decided. We're still like debating around this. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think too, with the first look and then walking down the aisle, one thing to think about is you still will get two different styles of photos as well. So
Yeah.
I think that that's always really nice because even when you're walking down the aisle, he's still going to be filled with emotion. And even though you guys did have your first look, it's a different feeling. It's a different emotion that is captured too. So it's sometimes dependent, of course, on the couple and what their priorities are, but there's benefits to both essentially, and it's just kind of talking it through to figure out what you both feel comfortable with. But I
Yeah.
do take I like his points that he's making.
I would like that.
Yeah, he always
Yeah.
thinks photo
Yep.
wise, content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my like timing of my ceremony start was truly based on my photographer. Like she was like, golden hours this time, this is when you start. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's really important to even have that conversation when you're talking to your photographers in the very beginning too, just letting them understand like this is what we're thinking fashion wise. This is what our timing is, what we're thinking. You know, this is an outdoor ceremony versus an indoor ceremony. All of those factors really come into play when you're talking to the photographer. And if you trust them, then they'll be able to guide you in making those kind of educated decisions for your timeline too, which is really nice.
Yeah, I agree. Like when we talk with Greg, he always says that a photographer is kind of the creative director of the wedding. Obviously, the
Mhm.
planner is, but the photographer is a huge part in the part of decision making and all the
Definitely.
timing during the day. Yeah.
Oh, I am always consulting them to make sure that the couple's getting the most out of their photo coverage. And that is definitely a really important tip, especially when you have multiple outfits too. So even when we have when my gals do have and guys have different outfits and they're changing, that information is provided to the photographer. So we make sure that you are captured in all of those different outfits because that
Yeah.
is an important part to a bride too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
And sticking with kind of your life as a bride right now, is there anything that you're doing that's helping you kind of reduce stress around the wedding day?
Um, what can I say? I'm not a stressful person initially. Like it's not part of my DNA and personality. But if I was to say and find some way of just relax, I'm working out for sure. I'm not a big sports girl. Like I'm not usually working out daily. Like I just love yoga, but now I just start boxing, which is super stress
Oh, cool.
relieving and
Yeah.
amazing. And we actually do it together. So it's kind of fun with Greg. So boxing is my best way. And obviously, just, yeah, trying to not uh, think about it too much. Like, I love to think about this as the fun part, all the preps and everything. Like, I don't want this to turn into something, yeah, like that brings anxiety or everything. So I've seen so many brides ruining their big day, ruining their fitting, ruining their preps because they were all about control and all about what is he gonna think, what are gonna people judge me, and how, and it was just so sad. So my advice, I would say, is just to think about yourself, think about your couple, think about what you want, and just don't care and get rid of all these society codes and judgment around it that's going to make you feel bad at the end. It's a wedding, like it's supposed to be fun and light and effortless. So I mean, my brand is this way, you know what I mean? Like my brand is
I was
effortless.
going
My
to
Yes.
I
say,
bring this in my DNA. I bring this in my DNA. I always, like, comfort is a huge thing, for example, for me in my designs. So I want to bring comfort, I want to bring freedom, and I want to bring this effortless feeling. So it's the same about my wedding. Like I'm aligned with my values and my DNA. So I try to bring that effortless vision as well in my wedding preps.
mm,
I love that.
me too. So let's talk about your designs and your name brand. Tell us a little bit of how you got into designing wedding gowns in the first place and just like in the wedding industry.
Yes. So I feel like so many people are going to say this as well. Like it was by complete accident because I come from the fashion world. I used to be a designer at a brand called Sonia Riquel, which is quite famous in Paris. And I was in my late 20s. Some of my friends were starting to get married. I was not. I was not even in a relationship at the time. So, yeah, some of the girlfriends that I had at the time was struggling to find a dress that looked like her and suit her. So it was either the classical ball gown, strapless, bustier, very traditional, and it was that vision of the Cinderella bride. Like it was very princessy. So I'm talking this 12 years ago. There was not Instagram. There was not
Yeah.
all the beautiful brands and amazing choices that you get today. So it was quite a dessert. Like I would say it was a fashion dessert in terms of bridal, and especially back in Paris. Maybe you had like one or two brands that were doing nice things, but most of the time it was very traditional. And these friends approached me saying, "Okay, Reem, you work in fashion. We love your style. We love your daily wear. We love your insight and point of view. And why don't you just do my dress? Like, I trust you and I want you to do it." And I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, I had the network at the time. I knew a few seamstresses back in the days from my jobs. So I just, accepted the challenge. And it was so exciting, so fun, not easy because obviously when they are friends, the pressure is huge, but I really loved doing it. So at the same time, I was a bit in a turning point in my career. So I was a bit like, I don't know if I want to stay in fashion. I don't want to stay as a designer at a company. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was something very strong in my head. Like since I was a little girl, I always knew that I wanted to have my own brand. I just didn't know how to have an impact and launch a brand that has a purpose. Because doing another fashion brand in the landscape at the time was just annoying. You need to have a voice, you need to have a concept, you need to bring something to the table. And bridal was, like I said, a desert, and it was something that needed to be worked around. Like there was something to be done. Like there was a void to be filled. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like there is this friend on one hand that is asking me to do her dress, then the friend of a friend, then her mother who got married and asked me. And slowly, slowly, the word of mouth just worked magically. And I had the idea of launching a blog because it was the huge moment for blogs at the time to actually talk about wedding and fashion at the same time. Because what I noticed at the time is that fashion was on one side, wedding was on the other side, sorry. And the fashion world didn't want to have anything to do with bridal. It was dusty and, cheesy, like, how fashion people can be and the fashion aesthetic is like they don't want to talk about bridal because to them it was the black sheep of fashion, and nobody wanted to go in there because it was, yeah, not modern, not contemporary, not avant-garde enough. So I was like, okay, why don't I bring my fashion eye, my fashion vision, my fashion culture to this world where there is only the vision of a princess bride? Why don't we make this bride and this woman who obviously wants to have something trendy, sexy, glamorous, but doesn't have the choice today because she's either a princess with a very big, puffy ball gown or she is nothing. So this is how I actually built my brand. Like this DNA was, I'm not a bridal brand. I'm a fashion brand that does bridal. So
Mm.
it was a key moment for me. And this was obviously striking. And this is how I got into it.
Wow. And I
I
feel
love
like
that.
that's like the like integrity of your brand has really remained through that. I mean, when I was trying on your dresses and your clothes, like it's not even, you have looks for everything and it can be worn every day. Like these chic, cute little mini dresses, these
Yeah.
rompers and like pants sets. Like there's one that I want for my honeymoon. And they're just really like elegant, chic, and like exactly how you described just your personal DNA before, light, airy. What like continues to keep you inspired?
I guess that just my purpose initially was to empower women. Like I want to empower women and make them feel happy, confident, comfortable. And this is what makes me inspired day by day. Like the fact that I'm quite often on the floor. I'm trying to get close to my brides every day, whether it's in Paris or New York. And I want to hear what what they feel, their thoughts, their dreams, and get into it. So women are my biggest inspiration because they have the power, and through my dresses and designs, they feel so beautiful. And this is so rewarding and fulfilling to see this. So every day, each time that I take my pen and paper and try to imagine a new collection, I just, yeah, I think about these women, like, what do they want? And how could I feel their dreams and, you know, fulfill what they expect today? Yeah.
Mhm. It's so beautiful, your line. So are you working on something new right now with this bridal fashion week?
Yes. So I brought 5 new designs, but usually Bridal Week for me, April is a bit more around my ready to wear line because it's a big moment for the ready to wear right now. Like people are completely into finding their second outfit. So I would say that I try to push and value my ready to wear line during April market. And October usually is when I release my couture and the ceremony gowns. But I brought 5 new designs just to give a bit of a sneak peek, and I will bring the rest of it in October next time. Yeah.
Amazing. After your wedding.
After my wedding. Yes. I don't know. You know what? Someone asked me yesterday, like, how are you doing like your wedding and a new collection at the same time? I don't get it. To be honest, I don't either. So I just do it. Just do it. I don't think about it. I just do it. I wake up and I do it. And that's it.
Yeah. It's like me starting a business in the middle of wedding planning. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Are
Yes.
you out of your mind?" And I'm like, "Probably."
Probably,
It
but
also
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it also is kind of giving you both inspiration, I'm sure, like as you're going through it yourselves. I think that both of you have such a really interesting perspective, being both brides in within the bridal industry. So I think that's really pretty awesome to be able like to talk about that and share those kind of feelings too while running successful businesses in the middle of bridal market week. So
Yeah. In the
it's
middle of a
very, very nice.
disgusting, rainy week in New York too, which doesn't make
Yeah.
things any better.
Yes.
No.
So,
Same in Paris. Don't worry. It's the
oh,
same back home.
yeah, good. At least you're not missing anything. And I think when we're talking about like outfit changes and we're talking about just kind of trying to not reinvent the wheel every season, but like come up with new and interesting designs. A lot of feedback brides have been giving, what do I do, has been the difficulty in trying to find unique looks for themselves. And I actually have been struggling this too. Like the more that I started thinking about it, like I feel like I've been looking at the same stuff on Forward, Net-a-Porter, Moda, like over the months, and I see, so many people in the Cleo Pepe dress and the Nana Jacqueline dress and the this and the that, and I'm like, how do I? What is different out there? Like, what's your recommendation in trying to find something that's true to you, but also feels unique or like feels like that elevated version of yourself?
That's a very good question. And what you just mentioned is quite true. I mean, what I hear every day, and I think that's the key, it's a key element as a bridal designer to hear this uh, and actually listen to what brides are saying today. Everyone wants to be unique. They want something different. They don't want to look like their neighbor. They don't want to look like the one who got married in this. But at the same time, you have brides, because I see both. They don't want to see something that have been seen or worn too much, but they're also afraid to take some risk. You, Ali, you took some risk. I saw your fashion guide and what you did. Like you took some risk, and you were quite, off the book and trying to be like an avant-garde bride in your fashion choices. Not all of them are like this, because some people are claiming, yes, I want to be different, but being different is scary. So
Yeah.
today, uh, it's hard to find consistency with brides saying, okay, you want something different, but when I'm giving you something different, she's like, but has has a real bride wore it before? Because she wants to see a real bride with it to make sure
Yeah.
she's not doing a fashion faux pas, you know? So my recommendation here, and again, it aligns with my brand because obviously I'm doing like quite different things from what we see on the market, is just trust who you are and listen to you, and don't try to find reassurance somewhere else, or someone to just give you, you know, that stamp that, oh, you can do it because they did it before you, or you know, like they just need to follow what they love and what they feel like is right, and just try to focus, center, and listen to your inner voice that says, okay, I feel good in this, and that's enough. Because I feel like today, and it has changed and shifted over the last years, Bride has have so many opportunities, so many information, social media, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest. Like there are too many things and too many, like too much choices. Too much choices kill the choices. So my recommendation first, don't go all over the place. They sometimes they just get lost and it's super confusing. There are pretty dresses and amazing designers everywhere. This will be, but they need to learn not to have that FOMO mindset. They are like the fear of missing out something. Or if I buy this, I'm not gonna have the opportunity to maybe have this. And if I go too quickly for this, oh, maybe I'm doing a wrong thing because I need to wear something that is a bit less risque because someone wore it before me. So okay, this gives me like the certainty that it's valuable and it's accepted by, you
Mm.
know, the people, the audience. And don't do that. Don't do that because you get lost. You
Yeah.
get lost and you get confused, and you're doing something because someone did it before you, or because, yeah. So my recommendation clearly would be to just curate maybe 2, 3 fashion houses that really speaks to your heart, that you found on social or anywhere, doesn't matter, Pinterest, Instagram. Just curate those fashion houses and say, okay, this looks like me, this looks like me, and I'm going to try this and this, and that's it. And what you love the most, you go for it. It doesn't have to be validated by someone on social. It doesn't have, you don't have to ask the whole world about it if it's the right choice. So, and for someone who's a bit, I mean, not fashion oriented, or doesn't know her own style, I'll always recommend to hire a bridal stylist because they're amazing and they can help you focus, center, and really they can curate you the right offer for you. And I think that's something big in America. In Europe, it's not something that we do much yet, I would say. But I recommend brides to do it if they don't know where to start. Yes.
Mhm.
That's really good.
That's really, really good advice. Very good advice.
And I feel like some brides, like especially ones that don't necessarily know their own style and stuff, like people have always said, like you want to look like an elevated version of yourself on your wedding day. Like you don't want to
Yeah.
look like not you. And
Mhm.
there is, and it's funny, Reem, like for my looks, I very much I wanted to be unique, but I also wanted to be timeless. And so it was finding that balance of like, okay, I haven't really seen this much before. And does it go with my venue? But also, am I going to look back on it in 10 years and be like, what the was I wearing?
Very
So
important. Yeah, you are
there's like
so
that
right.
balance between
Yeah.
those two things.
Yes, I mean, this is very interesting point of view because sometimes girls are gonna go for the hip thing of the moment, and because it's super trendy, they'll go for it and blindly. That's a mistake as well. You need to stay true to yourself, and as you were saying, just twist it a little bit and take that little step up to make you look even better. So I think balance is about everything. This is what I try to do in my everyday design. Like every time I design a new collection, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this to make it a bit more risque and surprising and different, but I need to add a little bit of this to make it safe, and so they will look at their photos in 10 years and feel okay, I didn't do something completely crazy. So bridal is about balance. Bridal is about balance. And I feel like as a designer, we need to fulfill this mission. Definitely.
Yeah. I'm sure it's similar with planning too, because there always is something new, like bows this year, or like the Love Shack fancy trend. And like, I'm sure that brides come in and they're like, I want to do all of this. And do you have to kind of level set with them? Like, let's.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah.
even from the planning perspective, like what Reem was saying, kind of it really is true to the whole planning process. So trying to stay true to yourself with all of this outside noise that you have as a couple and a bride is very, very challenging. And so when you are planning too, when couples come to us with their Pinterest boards, I'm like, that is great. We're going to throw that out the window because I want to know who you guys are as a couple. And even though it's a wedding and it's going to be elevated, how do you live your life daily? What does your closet look like? How do you dress? Like, let's integrate your lifestyle and your personalities into this planning process, and that stays true throughout the fashion choices as well, and what dresses you're going to wear. I think that gets lost so quickly because of all of the outside noise. And it's, like Reem was saying, like, listen to yourself first and not all of the outside noise. So if you want to do something that's different, or like, put a tweak on something, or wear something a little bit more risque, because that's what you do wear sometimes when you go out and it's after 10 p.m. and you want to amp it up a little bit, go ahead and do that, because it is your day and you come first. So just kind of staying true to yourself through all of your decisions. It's a
That's
challenge, but that's definitely kind of the best advice.
that's very funny what you're saying, Amanda, because I saw brides. It makes me think about this. I saw brides being fashionistas all the way in their everyday life. Like they love fashion, they love many brands, they love to mix it up and spice it up and have fun. And they always have those statement bags, shoes, jackets, they wear oversized. And when it comes to bridal, they completely like switch and they become super classical, super like sweet, girly, traditional. And you're like, what happened? Like,
Yeah.
where is
Where did
the
the
girl that
personality
is like,
go?
yeah, super like funny and fashion and playful and free with her fashion choices? Why? Because you're becoming a bride. All of a sudden, you are going for a super embellished dress when in your everyday life you're super minimal. Or why are you going for something that is a traditional bustier, fishtail, or ball gown dress when in your everyday life you would have, worn a statement oversized sleeve or puffiness or big train or something like that. So it's very hard to just see brides trusting their own style and their own choices. And I feel like social media is trying to get you away. It tries to make you forget your real purpose and who you are. And I feel like definitely like the noise you're talking about is something that is a big issue today in wedding planning.
It is.
Definitely.
Definitely. It really is. It's challenging as a creative, but also even more so for that couple, because that noise is deafening sometimes.
Amanda and I started working together. Amanda had recommended this book called The Art of Gathering to me. And she gives her brides like almost like a manifesto of figuring out what you want the like vibe of your wedding to be. Like it's not like here's your flowers, here's your this. It's like, what do you want your guests to feel when they walk into the room? What do you want them to think about your love? And I think that that is so impactful, more impactful than being like, I want romanticism in my floral arrangement. Like, no, like, because then what happens is, and this is what I'm going to develop for our What Do I Do brides, is if you have that at the base of your wedding planning, everything will come back to that. That's how you curate a feeling from your outfits, from your flowers, from your table settings, from your invites. And that's where that comes from. That intention setting. And so I think it is just so important to comprehend that and really sit down and think about that to then stay on course and have that to refer back to when you feel like you're losing it a little. You're losing the plot.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
No?
Align 100%.
Yeah. Well, Reem, we have had such a wonderful time with you today and such
So
great conversation. I'm so grateful that you've taken the time out of your super busy appointment filled New York Bridal Fashion Week schedule
Yeah.
to talk with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Really loved chatting with you both. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rime.
Well,
We
see
can't
you
wait to
soon.
wedding.
Can't wait to, I
Mwah.
cannot
Good
wait to
luck
see
with your
everything
wedding.
from your wedding.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Ali's as well. Well, yeah, pressure right now. No, but I mean, I'll have fun. That's all I can say. I'll have fun. And I hope brides will have fun as well. That's all. That's the biggest advice I can give. Have
Yeah.
fun. Enjoy it. It's just a nice journey. And the whole year, not the big day itself, the whole year is a nice journey with your loved ones and your love. So just go for it.
I love it. Thank you, Reem. Have
Thank you
a
so much. Bye.
Bye.